the last speech of the semester, our special occasion speech, I am doing a speech about my mother. She has always been a very influential person in my life and somebody I've looked up to. And her turning 69 years old this year, I am very blessed that I do still have her around, and she is still very actively involved in my life and my children's lives. Growing up, her mother left her and her three siblings and my grandfather when she was very young. Eventually, my grandfather remarried, and she had three children of her own, so that gave them seven children to look after. My grandfather worked in a factory, and my step grandmother, or grandma, she didn't work, so things were a little tough for them. There wasn't a lot of money to go around. They had to do without a lot, and some of that being adequate medical and dental care. In fact, by the time my mom was 16, her whole top set of teeth were dentures. And I don't know about you if you were ever teased in school, but kids are mean. And to experience something like that, I'm sure, was a very rough time period for my mom. She married young to my father, and they started having children pretty quickly. And she was pregnant 6 times. And two of her pregnancies did not make it to term, and she miscarried both of those babies. And one of her other pregnancies did make it to term, but the baby was stillborn. So she lost three of her six children. She likes to say that her even numbered children made it, her second, her fourth, and I'm number six. So we all made it. And so even through all of that, she continued on and put herself through school to become an LPN. And so she did that for several years until she decided she wanted to stay at home and be a stay-at-home mom with us kids and be there for us, which my dad was fine with because he had the mentality of a woman's place is in the home, taking care of the husband and the kids and the household. So, not my mentality. But, so yeah, she started staying home to be there for us kids, and she was very involved in our lives, more involved than we wanted her to be at times. But that's okay. And she became the neighborhood mom to all of the kids in the neighborhood, our friends. She would plan these pizza movie nights where she would invite all these kids over and have us bring our friends over, and she would, order pizzas, and we'd stay up all night watching movies and drinking soda and eating pizza. Or she would plan these pool parties, and she just always wanted to make sure that nobody was left out, nobody felt left out, and that they always had somebody to go to talk to. If they weren't comfortable talking to their mom, they could always talk with her. And that's where I'm a lot like my mom, because a lot of people come talk to me about things too. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. And she actually started teaching me how to be a mom when I had my first child at 17 years old. She kind of guided me along that path. And when my kids got old enough to start school, she decided she didn't want somebody else watching her grandkids. So she quit her in-home daycare, and she came to my house to start watching my kids. So she kind of became a surrogate mom to my kids. She was here a lot with them to allow me to further my career and further my education. So if they were sick at school, she could go pick them up, or she would stay home with them if they were sick. If I was out of town traveling for work, which sometimes was extensive, she would be here to make sure they did their dinner and did their homework and took their baths and got on the bus the next day and had their lunch. She really did kind of become a second mom to them. And then she became the neighborhood grandma. A lot of their friends to this day still call her grandma. Her name's not Linda, her name is Grandma, and that's what she answers to. And she's just always been very involved. She did movie nights with my kids and their friends. As a matter of fact, she still does it with my kids. I came home the other day, and my sons and their girlfriends were all in my front room, with pizza and a Harry Potter marathon going on. So she's just always been very big about connecting. And I think that's one of the things I really admire about her, is that she doesn't lose the perspective. Even though life is crazy and life keeps happening, she finds a way to get people back to connect. She has taught me a lot about the type of wife and mother I wanted to be and didn't want to be. She has taught me the type of grandmother I want to be, which will be happening later this year. And now she's going to be teaching me the next phase of life of how to be a great grandmother as she steps up to the great grandma ranks, or Gigi, whatever she wants to be called, later this year, and I become grandma. So that'll be pretty exciting for both of us. But I think most importantly, she has taught me the type of woman I want to be and don't want to be. Knowing my self-worth, having values, being compassionate and helpful and empathetic with people and helping people if you can. So when people tell me that I am a lot like my mom, I don't take offense to that. I actually take that as an honor, and I'm blessed that somebody would put me even close to the same category as my mother. And I really hope that the way that I have raised my children impacts them even half the way my mother's raising me has impacted me. So this is my mom, and I'm very proud to be just like her.